pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Michaela, you want to do roll call?
Yes. Counselor Hannett?
Present.
Counselor Hammer?
Here.
Counselor Asbell?
Present.
Counselor Langdon? Here. Counselor Maston?
Here.
Counselor Nicholson?
Here.
Counselor Aguirre?
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is we are going to have school board representative.
Public hearing for the blame.
Oh, okay, sorry. We have a public hearing for the rates.
Yes.
Blaine, you want to go ahead and? I have an old agenda.
It's not on mine.
It's not on my agenda.
It's on
Yeah.
The new agenda.
The new agenda.
posted one.
Hi, good evening. So I know it's been a little while since we did our workshop, but I'm back and we're here to discuss an update of the department's fee schedule. And the last time that was done was 1997. So included in the materials would be a comprehensive schedule of fees to cover building permits, planning associated fees with submittals for like an improvement location permit and plan commission, plating documents, on-site reviews, fire inspections, also to include violations, but fines as well.
How long ago did we meet on this? Was it last year? Early this year?
I think it was
No,
early this year.
Early this year?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a little
It's
while.
been a few months, so is everything incorporated in here, what we agreed to? I think it is.
Yes,
My
so
best recollection.
I know in the workshop, we kind of agreed that residential probably wasn't appropriate for using the BVD formula. So that's been removed, and residential would be a flat fee, and the proposed is commercial only using a fixed publication of the ICC
Okay.
table. Yep.
Yeah, because I think when we met, it was like, that's really pretty restrictive or usurious for residential. Okay.
I'm most excited about, I don't know if it's under a fine or a violation for false and faulty alarms. I think it's high time for that to occur.
Pretty typical, yeah.
Okay. I did have one question on that, since, is the false and faulty alarm, there's 3 different categories for 4 to 6, 7 to 10, and more than 11 or more. Is that per address, per property type thing, or is that per owner? In other words,
It's implied per address, I think.
per address, okay.
We
Okay.
could dial in something more specific, though. if
Okay.
That's
why I
necessary.
kind of figured it was, but I wanted to be certain and get clarification on that, I guess.
I have one concern about that. I don't know if it's been discussed, but having lived in situations specifically amongst a lot of 20-year-old college students, when you start to fine people for alarms, they will begin to make sure their alarms don't go off as much, which will lead to dangerous situations. So I would really make sure we're considering that in the fine structure, because that's just how 18 to 21-year-olds tend to think, and a lot of people older than that also will think that way.
Would that not be covered by tampering with life safety system, a $500 fine?
Well, that's after you find the tampering, which is probably going to be way too late. That'll be after something
Yeah.
catastrophic happens.
So, I mean, that's pretty substantial when the 11 and beyond is 250.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, again.
so if they start disabling them, and then DePauw's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
If they allow that to happen.
Let's presume that's the case. The students themselves, I don't think are liable. My guess is it's their landlord that's liable.
Fair, but I mean, I would assume,
And how can they not
yeah,
activate an alarm if they're cooking or have hairspray or smoking or whatsoever? You know,
Right.
It's still going to happen.
right,
And if they disable it, somebody goes in and finds it's disabled,
yeah,
then
Yeah,
again,
my-
the landlord is going to be responsible.
yeah. My
Is that not
concerns.
correct?
So, well, on the chart, the first set of fines for faulty alarms kicks in between 4 and 6 in a calendar year. So the first 3 are presumed as warnings. So that gives people a lot of wiggle room.
So in the case of like an apartment complex, that'd be per unit in complex?
Yeah,
then?
per apartment unit, yeah.
In a dorm, that would be per room in a dorm or address in a
That
dorm?
one, good question.
It'll probably have to be per address.
Yeah, it'd probably have to be.
Yeah. That's just where my concern comes in. And I think the tampering fine makes a lot of sense, but I would just be afraid that we would not notice it was tampered with until after something catastrophic happened.
So are you suggesting we take it out?
I'm not necessarily suggesting that. I'm just bringing that conversation to the table.
Rob, are they able to, I guess, if somebody messes with an alarm in the dorm, is somebody going to know that there's a problem, that the alarm is not activated?
I guess that's my question, is like, who enforces that? And is that a report that's gonna need to get turned into the city, or like, how do we know how many false alarms have we had at an address? And Vince is correct, like, there's a lot of times, like, we've been in dorms that they take solo cups and tape them over top of the detectors to keep them from going off so that they can smoke or do whatever in the building. And it does stop the alarm system from going off. So, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't keep us from fining them for that.
Right.
But, because it is tampering with the system, which is a huge life safety hazard.
Yeah.
But we see that all the time.
Maybe the fine would encourage them not to, if they're already tampering with it, maybe it would encourage them not to.
If they know about it, they may not know about it.
Yeah.
So how do you know they do that?
We see it, and we check the building, like,
Oh.
so whenever the alarm goes off, we usually walk the entire building. to
Okay.
Find out what activated the alarm. A lot of times the alarm panel will tell us what room or what zone that the alarm, the detector had that's been alarmed, and then we go check that area. And sometimes we open up those dorm rooms just to make sure, because kids don't leave, and then we'll find that they've taken cups or bags or something to tape over top of the detector heads to keep them from going off, because they like to smoke in buildings and do those types of things.
And to be clear, my fear is that if, just thinking from their perspective, if, let's just say I'm a student doing nothing wrong, right? And I'm in a fraternity and my hairspray, whatever, sets off the alarm. And then my fraternity president tells me, well, you owe $100 now because you did that. I can guarantee you, then they immediately are going to tamper with it. Immediately. And not just fraternities and sororities, but the individual apartment complexes, anything where it's not going to be like the freshman dorms. And same with other apartment complexes. I don't think this is just a DePaul issue, but I imagine Zinc Mill, I don't know what their system looks like. But if someone has 3 ramen noodles that set off the alarm, they're going to take that alarm off or put a solo cup on it or something. So I would just be really cautious. Again, I'm not necessarily saying we don't do it, but I think we have to be careful not to incentivize negative behavior. And I don't think the disincentive of the fee is going to be enough, because realistically, you're not going to know that there's that they're tampering with it until it's too late. And then,
I'm sure it's in their lease too, which should also be a disincentive that you're not to tamper with the fire alarms. I think that's a pretty common thing in leases, and I would guess they have that in their agreement for housing at DePaul, but we could make sure that, and communicate with DePaul and do some educational outreach
yeah.
with whoever, if that
Yeah.
passes.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to vote against it or we should amend it. I don't have a solution, but it does concern me.
And we're not picking on them either.
No, I know. I think any new development is going to have an alarm system built into it. It's going to be the same case, in
Well,
my opinion.
and, we've got the old hospital down the street
Yeah,
from us.
exactly.
And, that's a
Yeah.
pretty common call
Yeah.
to down there. because I do watch it, you know, I
Yeah.
read the scanner, you know, and I
Yeah.
look and I see where they're going. And it's generally a very small population of properties where this happens. And it's just, this just gives us an opportunity, and, you know, maybe we don't know exactly if it falls into the 4 to 6, 5 to 7, $1 million to $4 million category, you know, but this at least gives us something when we've got a bad actor who doesn't want to help out.
Right.
And so that's why I think it's important to have.
For what it's worth, I was in charge of this sort of arrangement for notification and in another jurisdiction, and giving the 3 warnings per calendar year, that usually captures the honest mistakes, and within that calendar year, it usually changes behavior for those specific people. And then once that rolls over to the next calendar year, you know, it's a fresh slate, an additional 3, and I don't anticipate very many problems. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, and fraternities and sororities, group settings, I think that adds question to it. But generally speaking, I think that gives people a lot of buffer.
Who enforces this?
It would likely be John, based on whatever increment, likely monthly, just tracking of an address and whether or not it was a false alarm.
And I'm sure that's in your report, if you see a solo cup over a,
Yeah, no, when we find something like that, we usually turn it in all safety,
Yeah.
contacts, campus housing or Greek life. I just didn't know, like,
who doesn't
John's
follow
gonna
up.
get that information, like he's gonna have to get it from the fire department, you know, how that whole process, or we thought about how that process is going.
Yeah, John would work through this.
Is this,
Turn it into a phone, if you had that situation.
is this just for automatic detectors? I'm trying to pull it up now, but I can't get it up. Or is it for any false alarm call? Like if I called and thought my neighbor's house was on fire? or
I
something?
think it's implied with automatic
Okay.
detectors. That's
Okay.
how I envisioned it, yeah.
Sorry, I just can't get it up.
I hope you're not calling on the same neighbor for more than 3 times a year.
You never know. There was,
Roll that to 2 or 3.
there's one I've called on twice so far, but they weren't from the city originally. They've learned you can't burn in your driveway.
Well, and that's, go down one more
Beds.
line. That's
They've learned
another
you
line
can't burn
down.
beds in your driveway.
The prohibited burning is $100.
Yeah, not beds.
Prohibited burning is $100. No, I assume there's no grace on that. That's not after 3 or something like that. That's, they're burning leaves and stuff like that. It's a no-no, and people should know that.
Is there anybody in the public that is here to talk about the rates or anything? Okay.
Well, I would move we'd close the public hearing then, if there's no further comments.
Second.
Before we close it, can I, not about this specifically, but would it be possible to notify council about public hearings when you notify the paper? I somehow missed this was even a public hearing, so I couldn't promote for people to come. So if we could just all get that notification, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Thank you. He'll be back for that. Okay, Catherine?
You're flying solo tonight?
I am. Megan's son is on the baseball team, and his MRI came back much more positive than they thought it was going to be, so he's on limited play tonight, but he can't drive, so Mom had to take him. Dad's working.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm here on behalf of the Greencastle schools to give a little report on what's been happening throughout the year. So I've kind of broken it down into categories for you. Under finances, we're holding our own. This year is going to be much more tight than last year was due to Senate Bill 1. We're in the second year of a 2-year contract. It can only be opened to renegotiate salary or insurance, and I don't anticipate that we will be reopening.
Our bond rating was upgraded to an A+, so that was good. In our belt tightening, we have cut no programs, although along the way we've absorbed positions here and there. So when you look later on, when everything is fully staffed, we only have one staff opening open, and an offer was made today, so hopefully they will have accepted, and we will be at 100% when school starts. But as far as our belt tightening, we have reached our limit. The next step will be to cut programs and cut teachers, and we don't want to do that. We have tried extremely hard not to do that this year. And I know that you probably have looked at some of the larger school corporations in the state, and they have been cutting positions, or they are going to referendums. And we have tried really hard not to do that. Nearly 98%, and under academics, nearly 98% of all our high school students participate in at least one extracurricular activity, which is unbelievable. So kudos to the high school staff on that. Bailey Bogus was named a Lilly Scholar, and we were very proud of that. We have had a very successful summer school program. I read 3 remediation retest. It's all like one big boo-boo. Our numbers were much smaller in participation to past years due to gains our staff has made with our literacy efforts and focus and support. We cannot share the data at this time. In fact, we don't even know what it is. They haven't even scored the math, and the math won't be scored until August, which kind of puts us in a bind because then we can't group our students the way they need to be grouped. But because all that data is still embargoed, but our summer school targeted 2nd and 3rd graders who did not pass iRead in the spring. So this year we had 24 students. Last year we had 40 students. The year before we had 60 plus. So you can see those numbers are coming down. The staff has done an excellent job at targeting and intentional learning in the classroom. So we're very proud of our students and staff for the gains we have made the past few years. I can share some of the testing that we individually have done as a school district. We've had some grade level proficiency beginning of the year to end of year in kindergarten and math. Our students from beginning to end of year saw a 70% growth. Our first graders saw a 65% growth. Our second graders in math was 46%. In reading, kindergartners, 60% growth. Excuse me, turn the page. First graders, about a 65% growth. And our second graders in reading and English language arts, 50% growth. So just really, really good numbers. In our end of year, in our reading, kindergartners were at 92%, first grade was at 83%, second grade was at 81% of the total students passing. So we were very pleased. Those numbers are way up. And then, of course, the high school academic Super Bowl teams brought home 2 more state championships for a total of 38. And that 38 represents more state championships than any other school in the state. I don't care, Ben Davis, it doesn't matter. We had the most. And the middle school brought home a championship as well. So it's the great news there. All the Greencastle music ensembles brought home straight golds at their area competitions. Really great there. In our capital projects, we've continued having work sessions to prioritize projects. We continue to tackle a variety of deferred maintenance items, including the McAnally Parker roof replacement. Oh my, that's going to be quite the project, especially the crow's nest.
Have you gotten any bids yet?
Oh, yes, we have bids, we have a contractor, and they are gathering materials as we speak. All the classrooms at TZ are being repainted. We're seal coating parking lots. TZ is going to have new classroom furniture. During fall break, we will go in and replace the furniture there. We've reactivated the welding booths in the shop at the high school, and we have new interactive whiteboards at the middle school and the high school to replace the projector system. The projector system was at end of life. We couldn't even get lamp bulbs to replace in the projectors, so we've gone to a new system. And we're going to be upgrading the baseball and softball fields. In sports, Cy Gernon placed 9th at state in pole vault and also was in diving. Allie Landry claimed the first win at tennis state finals, advanced to the quarterfinals. The boys' baseball advanced to regionals. We had several track athletes advance to regionals. The boys' golf had an undefeated season. Girls' tennis won sectionals for the 9th time. And we had approximately 33 all-conference athletes. In other items, we recognized staff and support staff at each school and district level. We had notable retirements this year, a total of 148 years of service. Doug Hudson at 22, Doug Greenlee, 45, Brad Phillips, 38, Karen Burt, 25, and Gail Hansen, 18. And historically, we had a wonderful, positive summer feeding program, including at the park. Close to 9,000 meals were served. We had several students from other school districts who attend the park program who chose to be served by GCSC instead of their home school district. Now, I know that that's kind of a rosy picture, and not everything is rosy. There are still many things to work on, but I would say that overall, Greencastle Community Schools are headed in the right positive direction. So that is the report that I have for this evening.
That's awesome. Thank you. Ms. Kat.
Catherine, you mentioned that you were going to be, hopefully, with this offer that went out today, that you'd be at full staffing. Is that for teachers and certified personnel?
Everyone, yes.
Everyone, okay, including bus drivers. Wow, wow.
Catherine, what's enrollment like? What's that trending right now?
If enrollment, we know kindergarten enrollment because we've already had roundup. That is lower. We have not had enrollment for the rest of the school district yet, so I can't really say, but my guess is it's going to go down.
Yeah. I think that's everywhere.
Traditionally, it has just, and I don't mean like by oodles and gobs, you know, 5 or 10 students makes a huge difference because that's money not coming into the district.
Do you happen to know like our free and reduced rate for the district now?
I think overall for the districts, it's like 85%. It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong on that, but I will be glad to go back and absolutely make sure of that number. But I know some of our elementaries are above that. Yeah. So
Great job.
How many students graduated?
128.
128?
128.
So you've lost 128 we know of.
Yes.
What was do you remember what the kindergarten round was?
It was over 100, but I don't know the exact number.
Okay.
I
So
thought that graduation number's gone up though, hasn't it?
That was much higher than the previous couple of years.
That's what I thought.
there are a couple years we were like at 115, 110. That was a little bit larger class. And it, as you know, it kind of cycles in and out. There are some years when, you know, we're scrambling for kindergarten rooms. This year we're moving people so that everybody has a job, but our kindergarten is down. Preschool, pre-K is going gangbusters. So really happy to report that.
I'm glad people aren't losing their jobs.
No, we tried really hard not to do that.
Yeah, I'm really happy that, I know with the cuts from SEA 1. It must have been extremely hard, but I'm really thankful that you're able to find a way to do that.
I'm just hoping that next year we can survive that cut and maybe it won't be so bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's an unknown, and we're not in any different situation than any other school district. Everybody's scrambling right now. So
I think that,
I'm just happy to report that everybody has a job who wanted one.
yeah.
Catherine, thank you for serving on the school board for us, and we need to do our part as a city and fix Percy Julian, you know? It'll all be good.
And it's coming.
Well, it's a little rocky at the moment, but I totally understand that, so.
To that point, I think us as a council keeping an eye on the enrollment number and finding ways that as we execute economic development to help them grow that number, because it is an enrollment cliff around the country and especially in Indiana. So it's nothing you all are doing.
No.
But if we're proactive, forward-thinking, and thinking towards the future, maybe we can find ways to help boost that for them. And I think we're doing some of that already, but just something to keep in the forefront and maybe task economic development to keep an eye on how our economic development is growing enrollment.
Build it and they will come, as they say.
Yeah.
But, as the birth rate continues to drop, too, or births are put off till later in life, and we're just not having as many children, it's just a natural way that it's going to go. So we've got to up our game to attract people to come to us.
Also, I think homeschool numbers are going up statewide as well.
Yes, and that's not helping us.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But, is that it? Anything else?
Thank you
I
very
will
much.
look into that number for you.
All right,
Thanks, Catherine.
You're the best, girl, thank you.
I will also comment that Megan serves on our redevelopment commission. So she gives us a lot of input on what's going on with the school through that commission. So, okay. Well, we don't have any special requests this time, so we're kind of starting into that back part of the year that going on. So, department head reports, you had them in your packets. Before you guys have questions for them, I'm going to have Jacob Gould, our new engineer, come up and introduce himself to council, and then we'll go from there.
Hi, hello. Hi, everybody. Like the mayor said, my name is Jake Gould. I'm the new city engineer. I started last week, so still getting my feet underneath of me. Excuse me. I guess just a little background, just so you all know, and we've probably crossed paths. I've done that a lot in the last 2 weeks. So lived here my whole life. I live out by Cache Concrete now. Graduated from South Putnam, and then went to Rose-Hulman, graduated there. From there, I worked for a couple engineering firms. I worked for BF&S, and then NDOT, and then I decided to come here. Decided to see what's going to happen. I guess outside of that, I've got 2 little kids at home and a wife, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So aside from work, I'll stay busy enough. So yeah. But anything you guys ever need, just please let me know. We're getting business cards ordered, so I can give you those next time. So.
Outstanding.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
He started on one of our favorite things called stormwater. We have a lot of stormwater, so anyways, now Vince, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think we skipped public comments, and I know at least one person here to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Public comment, sorry.
Make him wait till the end.
Sorry.
I was ready.
We usually don't have
I was going to
We
wait you
usually
out.
don't, yeah, we usually don't have an item there, so,
That's fine.
okay, sorry.
For the record, my name's Russ Evans Sr. I served on the Bainbridge Fire Department for 25 years, nearly a decade as the Deputy Director of Putnam County's Emergency Management, and Chairman 8 years of the local Emergency Planning Committee. I'm here to share some information concerning the weather from last Saturday, July the 4th. I've spoken with a friend from the National Weather Service and a former well-respected Parks Department member of management. Their answers were similar. It was a no-win situation. Our own pool would have closed for 30 minutes after a lightning strike for safety, and I recommend we do the same for outdoor public events, including fireworks. My friend Dale Grove and I worked nearly 20 years together at the Putnam Park Road Course, and he shared a story of the high school student that got hit by lightning in 1995 at Riverton Park. In closing, I'll share my own close call with lightning. We were called out east of Bainbridge one cloudy afternoon where a group of men had been cutting wood. Lightning hit them. 2 of them were stunned pretty severely. 1 died, and yes, his tennis shoes were about 10 feet from where his body was. So I take lightning very serious. I'm not here to tell you how to run the show. I'm just giving you my opinion. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
Okay, sorry, Russell. Okay. Department heads, so y'all had information in your packets. Would you, anybody have any questions for counselors or anything like that?
Can Jason come up real quick? Jason?
You knew you were going to get called up.
Thank you for everything. You look tired.
I am tired.
You need some rest. Can you please just tell us a little bit about the ribbon cutting ceremony and there going to be bands, balloons? When's it going to be?
Yes, so this is the Parks Department inviting you all, and plus everybody in the community that wants to come out. There will be more information on Facebook, but we are having a ribbon cutting for the Emerald Palace. We are finally done. And if you looked at Emerald Palace 2.0, we even found some new things that were issues just this week that we got in there and fixed. I got in there and fixed in the little bitty hole. But yes, so August 8th, we will have farmer's market in the morning as usual. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll have our ribbon cutting ceremony. We have a really cool idea for our ribbon, so you'll see that here soon. And there will be food trucks, catering. And then from 1 to 5, we have free swim at the pool. That will be the pool's last official day open, but we'll have free swim again that day as well. So it's really good. It's a culmination of a lot of work, and you guys have all heard me say this way too many times, but this is a huge community project that a lot of effort went into, and this is just a little party to say thank you, cut that ribbon. The Emerald Palace has been well attended already. If you just drive through the park at any point, the pool is busy and the Emerald Palace is busy, and it's so nice to see the little kids out there playing and all over there. So. Any questions?
I had something come up this past week. Is there any way, even if it took some additional fundraising, that we could have some more baby swings put back in? I don't know if there is a baby swing.
There is not a baby swing. The standard for the swings, like the structure of the swing, when we were doing the initial, like deciding what we were doing, like the rubber swings are not safe or considered as safe. So that's why in our process planning, like we have the accessible, what are they called, disc swings? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the disc swings. But the old baby swings
the bucket swings.
The bucket swings, yes. The buckets that you put your kids in aren't safe because they don't have harnesses that you can strap children into, and especially with head control, and some children with head control where they can whip their heads around. And, when you come to the back of it, you can cause whiplash at the back.
Interesting.
So there are different types of children's or infant swings.
Yeah.
But that's part of why there aren't any currently, is because of the safety.
Okay.
And Leathers is known for their child's, or, Leathers is, it wasn't willy-nilly planned. Leathers went through and, looked at all the equipment. And, some of the equipment, like the little bouncy horses that are in there, were from my childhood, like from that, but they're actually safe and we have the mulch, but the standards have changed on them.
Interesting.
So more of the infant stuff they want fully strapped in now. So we can look into future additional things, but it probably will not be the bucket swings like that were there before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Many thanks to you, your staff.
Yes.
And to Denise and Jeff Sigler.
Yes.
And Grable, Gene Grable.
Gene Grable, yes.
People who just put in just the Lord.
hours and hours and hours. And then also thank you to all of the city staff that was at the park on Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday only worked because of all of the city staff and the counselors that came out and helped with all of our event. And I can't say thank you enough for all of that. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks,
Anybody
Jason.
else?
Yeah, Chief Jones. He's here, isn't he?
Yes. I think everybody's
This
here.
is a simple one. Have you had any complaints on fire pits after hours?
Good.
That's kind of what I figured you'd have.
Fantastic.
Good deal.
That's good.
I'm going to ask you that every month, okay?
At least till the snow flies.
Well, and then on January 1, he's going to give us an annual report, so.
Fire pit stop.
Anybody else have anything for any of the department heads? Okay, you guys are free to go. See, I didn't forget this time. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. I also want to give everybody a thank you that's worked on Emerald Palace, the 4th of July. The park's been very, very busy. They've had a good swim season so far, so that's all been going well. We did get bids back on the Shadow Lawn and Jackson Street Road resurfacing, and we are going to be able to move forward with that. And that will go to Board of Works this week for their approval. So Shadow Lawn will get work done from College to Arlington. And then Jackson Street will get from Washington to Seminary now, I believe. So a little bit past I'm sure it's Seminary.
Okay.
And that will be used by money that we're getting from NDOT for improvements of the road. And that section got really, really beat up. So, and then Andrew and his crew will work for areas on Madison and things that need to be upgraded from that.
So NDOT did cough up some additional monies for that
Well,
three-block area?
They gave us $87,790, and that's about what it costs to do that little section of road there.
Okay, good.
So we'll have more information when they get started on that. Reith Riley should be getting started here very soon on Indianapolis and Percy Julian. Those will not be any full road closures. They're just going to, kind of do the sections of concrete at the time, kind of like they did when they worked on Veterans Highway. So it's kind of the same type of process. People will just have to be patient when they go through that area. And then Indianapolis Road, Indianapolis Road's almost 3 lanes through there, so they may shut down a lane, but, the turn lane may not be in service, but.
Will they be working on Percy Julian first, trying to get it
Yeah,
done before
that's the
school?
plan, is to get them
starts up?
going once school, try to get as much done at school. And even if they get, closer down by the middle school and then the high school, down by the McDonald's won't impact school quite that much. And I'm sure they can kind of wait until all the buses get in and out before they really get going on it, so.
Okay.
Before they start the daily work, so. But those are the main things. Sidewalks are going to get started here soon. They're happening all over the city, so a lot of construction, a lot of summer stuff's getting started here. And going forward with that. Kayla?
My office will be out, we leave Sunday for training, so we'll be out next week. Utility office will obviously still be open though. But we're excited for some continuing education always, especially with all the new legislature that's come out recently. I think that's all I have.
Any new software or anything? That was last year, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, so this year for budget season, we'll be using DLGF's Budget 2.0. So we've done 3 or 4 trainings on that, and it's open, and we've been working through that. It's a lot cleaner process than the old budget system. So they've had a couple kinks to work through, but overall, I think it's going to be much better, more user friendly.
Okay.
Thanks.
We'll start with Vince. So, John, this is where we go around and counselors give reports.
Okay.
And so we'll start with Vince.
I'm going to ask Counselor Langdon for a favor. Can you hold up the printed packet real quick?
236 pages.
You just-
I don't have it.
He has one.
He's got it.
He just
He
hold it
has
up.
one.
This is
I want to, hold it up for everyone to see. I want to welcome Counselor Hanet and say how fitting it is that on your first meeting,
his copy.
well, no, but on your
This is
first meeting as
double-sided.
someone who pulled teeth for a living, to have the largest packet I have seen us have in my time on council.
Usually
I
it's 50.
promise,
Usually it's 50.
it's not always that big.
Yeah, it's not always that big.
But I want to welcome you officially to join us. My report's pretty quick. Last month, I talked about the outline of a mobile vendor plan. I did hand that off to Lori, who has informed me that there's a lot of pressing things that she's working on, and we will be working on that at some point. The other thing is I read an awesome article in the banner graphic today about gas prices, and it reminded me that I don't think I've shared something I've been working on. For about the last year, I've been trying to communicate with local gas station owners to little success. One owner has talked to me. He talked to me one time and then stopped. But I do think it's important to kind of put this out there. One thing he shared with me struck me, and I've been trying to clarify with him. He won't answer a call, so maybe he misspoke. But he did say to me plainly, in plain words, that all the owners talk to each other. They point to one specific gas station, and they match that price. I'm not making any claims to what that means, but I do think for those of us who might have fraternal relations with the Attorney General or just email communications with him, it might be worth pushing that message up the chain.
That happens everywhere.
I was going to say, that's not
I
unusual.
drove on 40 all the way up to 10th Street for 3 years straight, and I can tell you when one gas station in Plainfield changed, it trickled.
It
I mean,
may happen
every day.
everywhere, it doesn't make
It
it
was a
right.
domino.
It does not make it right,
So
but it does
I'm
happen
not saying it's a
everywhere.
magic wand. If we report it, something might happen, but I think it's worth, since it came from the mouth of an owner, to at least push it that direction and see what happens.
Have you seen, though, that the Attorney General's office did come out with a new website?
Yes.
At least we're not at the top of it.
Yes. We are not at the top of it.
I mean,
They're probably near the top, but.
But it is
Not number
interesting with me.
one.
There was an article last year that one of the co-founders of Gas Buddy was quoted saying that Greencastle is an anomaly. There's no statistical reason for us. So I think it's just worth it, especially like I think, Councilor Mass, I think you joked
is
that your
crazy.
fraternity brothers, like I don't know if you actually have his number or anything, but I think it's worth just pushing that and just seeing if anything happens, since I've heard it from an owner.
Well, clearly there is a trendsetter in town, and everybody follows.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's Kroger or whoever it is.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm hopeful that one of these days there's going to be kind of a market solution to that.
Hopefully.
But we'll have to wait on that one.
That would be great.
So,
I did not know about the Walmart situation years ago. I was glad to read about that. It was interesting. Yeah.
Well, Michaela and I had an opportunity to talk to one of the gas stations here in town with upper management on another thing, and I brought that up, and he was very vague on how the gas prices were set in Greencastle.
Yeah.
So it's the mystery, but,
Yeah.
you know,
well, it's nuts. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
it is crazy.
Absolutely. And that's it. I just wanted to mention that because that article spurred my mind that I don't think I'd ever shared that I was trying to talk to them. Yep. You did
Good
well.
job, Eric.
You did well. And that's it.
Tina?
I don't have anything.
Dave?
My arm hurts from dipping ice cream, I can say that.
Yeah, we dipped a lot of ice cream.
I didn't have to dip that much.
Because I'm incurably right-handed, so that's all I could do. But, no, that was a lot of fun. It really was, and saw a lot of folks, especially after Mr. Jimmy Hardwick had belled out and say, hey, last call 3 or 4 different times.
I was leaving, I heard him say
Yeah,
that.
but that was good. I too want to welcome John. I'm really pleased that you're here with us. And I'll just pass it on down to Stacy.
I agree with them. Welcome. I think, thank you for serving your community, because it is stepping up and
My pleasure.
having a voice in the place that you live. One thing I'm not prepared to talk about tonight, I just want to plant a seed. In my neighborhood and throughout the city, we've got these kids on electric scooters flying. down people's pathway? Should they be on the street? Should they be on the sidewalk? I don't know what the rules are, but I think it's something that I'd like to open a discussion on and kind of see if there are rules or things we can do. It's just, it's not real safe. And it's kids, it's not adults, it's kids. So maybe something to kick around and talk about in the future.
I did pass an ordinance, I'm having to dust it off here, because about 20 years ago maybe, downtown, about skateboards, and bicycles might have been also included.
I think they were.
I think they were. And then...
But now we have electric everything. We didn't have that before.
There was also an ordinance about people pathways, at least on the Fillmore. Well, it had to have been ours. Well, maybe it is. Anyway, we've addressed it tangentially, but not the electric.
It's changing.
They just need to
But
amend
it is an issue that is coming up in seminars now.
So future conversations.
Round tables and a lot of people are talking about it.
As we have that conversation, I'd love to plug the mayor's council in.
Good point.
I think we have to find the balance between safety and also letting kids be kids, which there's a fine line for sure. But I'd hate to disincentivize kids to ride their bike downtown.
Nobody says they have to go full throttle.
Right, yeah, exactly. No, I know, I'm not
And they need to
defending
obey the
reckless
signage.
driving by any means, but a blanket ban, like no
Yeah.
scooters downtown would be bad.
You need electric bikes too? Or do you just need scooters?
No, I mean-
I'm wondering.
Well, I'm a little biased.
Does that include that?
Electric bikes have a lot of state law that we'd have to follow.
Aren't there's electric skateboards now or something that they just stand on?
Yes, and one-wheelers, and I don't know about those.
How do
but
they work? I don't know.
I know the bikes have state law. Like my bike can't, it's throttled to a limit, so it's legal on sidewalks, pathways, and streets through state law, but there are some that are faster. And another thing to keep in mind too is the electric motorcycles, which are not regulated under the same laws as bikes. So if they don't have pedals, they're a motorcycle, which actually have to be licensed and plated and insured.
I haven't seen those.
And I see a lot of those actually in the park, and probably not good.
They're more of a scooter size. Is that what the ones you're talking about?
Yeah,
Kind
they're
of in
smaller.
between.
They look like
Yeah.
a mini bike. They're kind of small.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are smaller.
They're
Yeah.
smaller.
They're electric and have no
Kids
pedals.
on those,
Yeah.
and they weren't 16. I mean,
And yeah, those.
I don't know what the rule is.
Yeah, those are through state law. They have to have
They
plates and
didn't have plates
insurance.
on them.
They
If
look
they don't
like
have
those
pedals.
old mini bikes that we,
Yeah.
Chris, have you come across
just
many
not
of
as
those
loud.
issues?
That's loud.
We haven't come across a lot of them, but it's going to become a problem. They're coming out with things every day with technology.
Mm-hmm.
These scooters that we're running now, skateboards,
Yeah.
it's probably something that's going to have to be looked at for safety.
Yeah.
In
the district, in the district that I work in, we just had to change our handbook. And so our school handbook, we just had to change, so we don't allow them on campus at all, because they've been a little bit excessive on the sidewalks.
I think AIM has come out with a few things, but I know the listserv daily emails are being flooded about
Yeah.
all the communities
'Cause they-
trying to figure out.
Yeah.
They're a little aggressive.
Yeah, what to do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, Stacey?
No.
Two things. One, I wanted just to welcome Dr. John, and he's such a good human being and good mentor in this community, and we're so lucky to have you here, so thank you. Thank you. And then Catherine sent me a text.
Oh.
She said I misspoke about free and reduced, so I just wanted you to have the current numbers. It's 51% for the district, free and reduced, and one of the schools is closer to 55. So we are up a little since even I was here, so we're at 51%.
At least it's not 88.
Yeah, 80 sounded
It was almost, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know, that was so high, yeah. So 51%. That's all I got.
Okay, all right. As it sounding like a broken record, welcome, John. You can go next and welcome yourself. So, again, last month I commented on the fire hydrants, and they are just all looking very super good and everything else. So I'm just tickled to death, and I'm glad that Aubrey took that on and has gotten lots and lots of volunteers, and there's still more to come, I think. You know, be painting through probably the end of summer into the fall and everything else. So the more we get people to paint them, the better they look, and those are the ones we don't have to repaint later.
Yeah, they've looked really nice.
Yeah, and I also wanted to comment on the ice cream social. That was a lot of fun, and I'm glad you did it. And it was a great way to celebrate America 250. And so thank you for sponsoring that. And it was a nice afternoon. It was just too bad it was so hot, and it was in the middle of the day when a lot of people weren't there. And then I did hear, I left at 5:30 or 5:40, and I'm leaving the park, and I hear, last call for ice cream.
Well, in the line, we had growing.
Yes, I'm sure they did a mad rush.
Well, we did that because there was a storm heading in, and we were trying to get all the ice cream, and then we knew that we needed to clear out our space, so if they had to go to the shelter, that storm did not come through, but we did have the CERTA staff there, the CERT team, I guess, is the real, and they were doing all the monitoring and giving everybody, telling people when they needed to go places and giving us the okay to continue on and things like that. So we appreciated their time that they served monitoring. They have quite the command center there and monitoring weather and able to tell us. I'm kind of going off here on the thing, but that's why we had our last call on ice cream. But, they were able to measure and tell us exactly how far out lightning and everything was and to put things off. So we did appreciate their help. So, But yeah, that's why we had to have last call for ice cream, because we were going to go a little bit later because the kids' stuff was getting ready to go. And then they said that storm was heading towards us, so we kind of had last call for ice cream.
Last call for ice cream. All right.
So anyways.
I think that was it. Oh, and the Blue Moon. I don't know what the heck that stuff is, but
I don't know what
it sold pretty well. It sold. I did too. I tried it.
And I still didn't know.
People were asking. Wow.
Raspberry cotton candy.
My daughter says it's that, what's she saying? Fruity Pebbles?
Oh, Fruity Pebbles?
After the milk, she says when you drink the milk,
Oh, I don't know. I didn't try it.
Sounds great.
We were just trying to be festive, red, white, and blue.
I think it tastes like a dreamsicle.
Okay. John, would you like to say anything?
Well, just thank you for the comments. It was honored to be considered, and I'll do my best to make you proud on that. I have no impressions to fill Daryl's shoes in any way, shape, or form, but again, use all your help, and I might be the strong, silent type until I get my feet wet here. Thank you.
Drink from a fire hose.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes, the June 11th, 2026.
I would make a motion that we adopt the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is anybody going to abstain? Okay. Next item is approval of claims. So, Mark?
Yes, I reviewed them yesterday, and our direct payables are $1,227,539.96. Regular payables of $182,747.63. Payroll of $688,801.52, and pension of $21,198.07, for a grand total of $2,120,287.18. On the direct payables, one really large one in there, so that really drove it up. But anyway, got our American Structure Point for $3,300 for the comprehensive plan for the month of May. On the card services, I just made a notation out the side here. We had training that totaled $488, and fire hydrant paint supplies that totals $442.27. So, and we've got a lot of that materials are being donated, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, we had a lot, quite a bit.
Yep.
Oh, over 1,000 and some dollars was donated by Black Lumber Company to start that, so. Takes a lot of paint and a lot of supplies, paintbrushes to paint fire hydrants.
Yep. Then we had our usual Center Point Duke Energy, 23 Duke Energy bills as usual. The big claim for is one, okay. Redevelopment, okay. One of the biggest claim that we are approving is for Kelly Chevrolet for 326 Chevy Tahoes for police interceptors, and they are currently at JTN being outfitted and with lights and sirens and all the stuff that they go on with, radios and safety equipment and what have you. And then my wellness check for the month of June at the Putnam County Hospital had 63 visits, totaled $4,284, and T-Rex excavator and dinosaur for bank shot basketball. I think this was the final claim, I believe, hopefully, for $12,516.43. That totals $246,498.89. So that's all that we're approving. Nope, I'm sorry, totals $292,379.51. There's redevelopment was thrown in there too, and that's $928,000, almost $928,000. So I guess all we're approving tonight is the $292,379.51. Correct?
The grand total.
The grand total is grand total, which includes the cemetery, our $292,000, park, and then redevelopment for $929,000. So.
Yep. I did just want to mention My Wellness is our monthly.
Right.
We have 63 employees on insurance.
Oh, so whether they go or not, it's not number of visits.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Whether we have 63 employees.
We pay whether they use it once or they use it a half dozen times.
Yep.
Per employee.
I know I'm still loving through my personal My Wellness program, that option. Is our employees still loving it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
It's so beneficial.
Yeah. Theo's been twice this month, so.
That's it?
And it's every month, so. He knows the drill. He walks in and steps on the scale and gets his height and looks at what room and.
He said, where's my lollipop?
Yeah. So, I think the rest of the employees are also still getting a lot of benefit out of that.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Okay, and then on the regular payables, we had 9/11 Fleet and Fire. We had 3 turnout gears that total $13,000 roughly for the fire department. Annual physicals to Ascension St. Vincent for the fire department for just under $16,000, $15,914.27. Civic Plus, social media archiving, which is up to $3,000 records per month. And that was $6,070.59. Downtown Deco, which is 67 custom banners and flags for the downtown light poles, were $59.89.02. Eco Landscape is downtown planters as well as City Hall. Flowers and fertilizer for $5,300. Flock safety equipment, annual fee for 4 flock cameras for the fire department. It's our annual fee, I already said that, $12,000. Mowing and landscaping, lawn maintenance for Gorham Mowing and Green Street Residential totaled $4,240. We had 5 vehicle service for the police department at Hendershots for $2,205. We've got $16,000 annual support for the Humane Society as well as annual support for the rural transit for $30,000. And law enforcement training seminars for training, and for the police department, 4 vehicles for service for the fire department, for M&F Mobile, they come to the fire station, $7902.68. Midwest Electric, $8,548. $7,948 of that $8,548 is for annual inspection for the traffic signals. About 26 1/3 tons of street materials from Milestone Contractors for $2,081.65. And last one, Sealmaster for we had $4,665 of the $5,162 was for yellow traffic paint, which I think we've all noticed on our curbs. So bright yellow. So, and maybe there'll be a little bit left over for striping at a later time.
That's coming.
That's coming. And there were a couple that were added on. Absolute Tree Service for a Green Street tree removal, $1,600, which was our half. The homeowner paid the other half. And then we had at 608 Illinois Street, we had a sidewalk repair for $3,021.82. and that totals 155,000 of the 182,747.63. The difference, the other parts are for the cemetery and the park. So with those explanations, I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes, or the claims.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay.
And I think the Green Street tree deal was really advantageous for both the property owner and for the city.
Right, and to have I understand it was a very large tree,
It was a
so.
large tree.
It was.
And it was kind of a hazardous situation, and
It was in the right of way.
it was in the right of way. I mean, but, without going and surveying it, some of the tree was on both properties.
Yeah, so,
So it was just a great deal.
yeah, and they were willing to split it with us,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so thank you to the
But it was a
homeowner.
very rotten, it was a very rotten tree. With some of the storms and winds we've gotten through, you just never know. Okay, old business, ordinance 2026-4, amending the 2026 salary ordinance, second reading. So, we came to you last month and asked to add a building inspector to our planning inspection department, as we have a lot of big projects underway or getting ready to begin. Anybody have any questions about that?
No changes?
There's no changes.
I would move that we adopt ordinance 2026-04 on second reading.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, I will start that. I'll let Michaela start that. Okay, the next item is ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance amending section 8-28 of the Greencastle City Code regarding loading zones, and this is also second reading. And I think, I hope a lot of you had the opportunity to go by there and check the area out that was in question. We have the developer and Jason Chu from DePaul here, if anybody has any questions about what they need to do there. So, do you guys want an overview? Yeah, so go ahead and.
Wish I could hear.
I guess I would first just apologize, first of all. I'll be honest, I didn't know there was a fire department parking. Been by there 100 times, never saw the sun. Wouldn't have changed the ask, but it probably would have changed the approach, right? I probably had a chance to go talk to the fire department, let them know kind of why we're looking at this. Didn't realize that they were in our TRC meeting, and when we talked about that as well. So I apologize for them, apologize to you that I didn't have a chance to do that ahead of time. I'll let Brett's from construction talk a little bit about the importance of this loading zone and why we put it where we're asking for it, where it is, and
yeah, similar sentiment to Jason. I guess we definitely overlooked at those reserve spaces. Again, doesn't necessarily change the request, but certainly what the approach is slightly different. I think what we're looking for is two reserve spaces here for trash, to bring out trash from the building. As you guys know, at Seminary Square, there's about 30 feet of grade just across the side. And on either side of the building, we've got one on Seminary and one on top of the stair. There is a certain point in the building where we can actually enter those buildings at grade with flush. And so on one side, we have the water room, Seminary, which was coordinated with the fire department, and the other side, we have the trash room. So there's kind of just one location where I can I have trash chutes that go up to 4 stories. So residents go to the trash chute, put it in, and I have a compactor, and then once a week, maybe twice a week, we'll roll a bin out and for those trash receptacles to be picked up. And so what we're looking for is to kind of bring those out and kind of treat this as a loading zone. So that way, in the morning, when those bins come to be empty, if there are cars parked there, those bins couldn't be picked up, right? So that was the request. Certainly open to kind of have additional conversation. We don't have the same problem here because if you guys recall, when we were doing the vacation process, we did leave a portion of this alley intact. So on this side on College, we're able to come through and have our trash kind of be picked up in this location and can be wheeled out this way. So we don't have the same on-street parking. So happy to kind of talk through that if anyone has any questions.
Well, I did go look at it, but it was like the day or two after the last meeting, so I've forgotten everything I saw. And worse than that, I actually like took notes and drew a little schematic, and I forgot that too. So, but there's 4 stalls there, correct? As it is today?
At least 4, at least.
I think there's 4, and then
Before
there
the
was the
drive.
curb cut,
Yeah.
which might have gone to the old alley or back into the house that was there, behind the apartment that was there. So, I think what it does is it would, if we still gave the fire department 2 dedicated stalls, they would just have to move 1 to the east, I think. And so.
2 to the east.
To the east, because they want the 2 west ones.
Yeah, and that's basically because my trash comes out at this location, which is kind of right in the middle of that second space.
We get that. The idea behind all this is, we give you what you need, but yet we also give the fire department what they've had. And, if they have to move 1 stall to the east, that's something I think we can manage. So I just wanted to clear that up, but I measured the street, to see exactly, curb to curb, what we were going to do, depending on what you were doing. I didn't know it was just come and pick up trash. When we mentioned that, I think down in Technical, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and I think with the alley being removed, right, I think that curb cut goes away. I'll have to double check, but I do think that the space is gained. So I think it's not a matter. I think like there's one reserve space that's going to be impacted on that lot. But I understand the sentiment of sliding those stalls.
If that's all we have to do, it should be something we can handle.
I think that's a good compromise. Is it feasible to do no parking just on trash day?
I can try to coordinate that. I can look into that.
I thought there was just 4.
The hard part is I don't necessarily know what the trash day is and how frequent it's going to be yet.
So would that be?
It's the best guess at this point.
So that's going to be like a private trash pickup then? That makes sense. Okay. I guess if you ever determine that that's feasible, even if, we close it, we give you the spots now and you come back in 3 years and say, actually, we only need it Tuesday, we could always go back and.
I think the other part that could probably be worked out, right, is we literally need those spaces for an hour.
Yeah.
At the time, so we can probably
That was my thought.
work through
Yeah.
when the pickups are and have those conversations. I just don't know how we handle that yet, right?
Do we do, I know other places do that, but do we have any in our city?
I can see it being a problem like during holiday weeks.
Yep.
When the holiday may fall on
Schedules change.
Tuesday, and it's like, well, they're going to come now on Wednesday. It's like, we got the sign saying between 8 and 9 a.m. or on Tuesdays, or 8 and noon on Tuesdays, and yet they're coming 8 to 10 o'clock on Wednesdays instead because of the holiday.
That's fair.
We're going to have a huge parking garage right there.
Yeah, there will be a parking.
Yeah, there'll be a parking garage there with, what, a third of the space is dedicated for city use?
Yeah. That'll be covered in the winter. They'll be not
Yeah.
snowy, and they won't have to clean off their windows and all that nice.
You anticipated there being any other need for those 2 spots for loading or unloading of anything else during the week or on a regular
No,
basis?
I mean, the one thing that will be, and that's not what this will be used for, the only other loading situation you could potentially have is move in, move out type situation.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, we are planning to handle that kind of on
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be the only, that's not.
No, that's not going to be very handy unless unless there's an exit there and somebody's moving out in that corner of the building or something.
That seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think moving it to the east, as long as the fire department's on board, makes sense.
Is that a motion?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to vacate the first two spaces on the southeast corner of Vine and Indiana, and then add, Poplar, sorry. No, Poplar and Indiana. Yeah. And then add two reserve fire spaces starting 40 feet from that corner. Is that roughly? You just tell me how to word it, and I'll word it.
What the ordinance says.
What does the ordinance include? The fire?
Well, it doesn't say about the other two spots, does it?
It's a matter of
Yeah.
yanking out the sign and moving it ahead of another one, so.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Laura gave me a nod. It's legal.
Let's amend it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a motion.
Motion to amend. Motion to amend.
Motion to amend?
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second to amend the ordinance 2026-5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Then do we need a motion for the new amendment, or the new,
To now adopt it?
Well, or to
Yes.
amend the motion to adopt it on second reading with,
well, we've already amended it, so
okay.
All right, I'll make the motion that we adopt the now amended ordinance 2026-5.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Do we just have them sign a new copy?
I'll make the changes and you can either sign it next time or.
Okay.
Tina, did you second that?
Kathy did. Kathy did.
There's no rush. Yeah.
She was being. Yeah.
Till November.
Talking
Yeah.
about a while anyway.
Yeah, you're quiet.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next
Thank
item
you.
on the agenda is ordinance 2026-06, an ordinance creating a special event street closure policy. And nothing's changed in it?
Nope.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve on second reading.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, resolution 2026-10, a resolution to accept a mathematical formula as methodology to assist in the determination of an appropriate schedule of fees for development and inspections within the city limit, within the city of Greencastle. So, did you make copies of that new resolution that had the minor change in it?
I just have one. And make copies. Yeah.
So, we made a slight change to the resolution, very slight. Do you want to talk about the slight change?
Yeah, so on.
I think it was a discussion between Vince and.
Yeah, based on Councilor Aguirre's recommendations, paragraph 4, and I'll start here, whereas the International Code Council now would read, whereas the International Code Council, a nonprofit organization widely accepted as a standard for model codes worldwide across the various trades, and so on.
It was very minor. I personally don't love the ICC, but it is a standard that a lot of cities and states follow. So when I read that it was kind of stated as the organization responsible, I just thought we could change it to say it's a organization that a lot of people follow, basically.
Yep.
It doesn't change the impact of this resolution at all, just it's a personal thing.
Yep. So it was, so we just decided we could change it unless anybody has any huge difference between that, but we would vote on that change, if that's okay.
So now it's not the one and only, it's one of many.
One of,
Basically, yeah.
yeah, it's very well recognized, though, but it's not the.
It kind of has been, in my eyes, the de facto standard. Not that the ICC doesn't have their issues, obviously. But yeah, makes sense.
So this is basically saying the table for the next ordinance, correct?
Yes, so this is, I don't have a copy of it. I mean, I do, but I'll have to go through it.
2026-7?
Thank you. Yeah. I didn't realize you did that.
The resolution.
You read my newsletter?
Or the resolution, I'm sorry.
I have the old one.
So basically, it's the methodology for the commercial. It's a resolution explaining the methodology of determining the commercial fees for that. And the reason we don't use it for both is the new state statute does not allow for anything to change on building permit fees for residential only every 5 years. And this, the way it's set up, it has a factor that changes, could potentially change every 6 months.
Yeah, which
So-
is honestly more in line with the economy and those trends. I think building valuation data and those publications are probably a more objective and direct connection to building permits and planning functions, where the state legislation, House Enrolled Act 1001, that went into effect July 1st, it references the Consumer Price Index, and I don't know if that's the best metric, but regardless, that's kind of what we're stuck with. So luckily, those tables that the ICC provides, they don't change significantly, typically. Just a few dollars, basically, every 6 months. So frozen in time, we have February 2026, that publication, and at the 5-year mark, we can revisit that. And at that time, hopefully, those amounts haven't changed significantly and aren't too out of line. But by then, we can make changes.
Well, they have changed in the last 29 years.
They have.
It's definitely high time that we, and the fact that we're really tracking closely with what the county is doing just seems to be pretty responsible on our part, because user fees are, I mean, if your example of recovering 10% of the department's budget through user fees, you know, we might be getting 1 or 2% now. And the scope of work has increased exponentially over those 29 years too, of what you're having to inspect, what you're permitting. You know, the world has changed a lot in that time in development and in real estate construction. So, you know, I'm all for this.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that have been added to us in the last 27 years, like all the stormwater calculations and drainage calculations. Yeah, there are just so many unfunded mandates that we have now. And technically, you can change it in 5 years, although it's clearly discouraged by the way they wrote the statute. But you can, if you go through a process with a public hearing, and you have to have strong cause, that's probably not the word, but justification for why you would have a change in between the 5 years. Clearly, the thought is once every 5 years, if possible. But again, there could be new things that we're required to do.
We may have to.
So if these tables come out every 6 months, is it possible that we'd have minor changes every 6 months? Or are we just setting everything in stone for 5 years?
Basically, yeah, everything's kind of set in stone. But like I said, those changes typically 6 months at a time, depending on which occupancy group and classification. It's a few cents up to a few dollars.
So you're saying it is going to change. It's not set in stone for 5 years because we have this calculation now, right?
For commercial.
For commercial property, not residential.
Right, we're
I
not.
think this is probably the sticking point. We can't use a moving goalpost,
On residential.
from my understanding.
On residential.
But commercial we can.
The commercial.
No, I think commercial we can't.
So are we
Can or
We-
cannot?
We
So we
cannot.
hold it
We
at this-
can use the BVD formula and the data table, which is more objective than flat fees, and it's more appropriate in a commercial application, but we have to use that February 26 publication. Unless we go through the process outlined with the substantial change, and we go through the public hearing, and then adopt the new publication as our source data,
So we could see this again in 5 years, but not.
basically.
I didn't-
Or if it trips,
Semi-annual report, but still in all, it's better to adopt it with a new rate schedule and let it sit for 5 years than it is to not adopt it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That would be my argument.
Especially since it's been since 1997.
9 years. I don't remember doing it. Do you, Mark? I mean, if it was in 97,
No,
we must have.
I think we've all slept a few nights since then.
We probably went from $5 to $20 or something. It's still, when I look at the schedule today, it's just, it does not reflect reality. And so, but I am glad that the residential stays at a reasonable rate. But for the commercial rate, that, and you know, you got so many more inspections that you have to deal with now. It's just, like I say, the scope of work has expanded considerably, and that needs to be recovered somehow.
and I apologize, I don't have the exact number, but in our workshop, one of the numbers given was just how many inspections were required for the YMCA, just as an example, and just Patrick was out there countless times. And you can kind of transpose that to other commercial projects. It's a lot of work, a lot of hours.
Well, we've got some projects coming up that are going to require a lot of inspections.
Probably more than the YMCA.
Yeah.
Lane, do you feel at this time the pricing is a good balance between making sure we're not losing money but not disincentivizing growth?
Oh, we're losing money.
Well, reducing the loss to the city while not disincentivizing
Increasing a
growth.
little bit of revenue.
Yeah.
I believe so. And the way the formula is laid out, it's only capturing 10% of the department budget, so
Yeah.
that's very conservative.
For commercial.
And I think that we were wanting to become competitive and not usurious. in our
Prohibitive,
rates.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, can I make a quick, because I read this differently than what you're saying.
Sure.
The last, be it further resolved that subsequent international code publications for square foot construction costs shall be utilized as part of this methodology in future iterations. To me, that meant we would use the new ones and continue to use the new ones as they came out. So can we say, and you're saying that's not what we're doing? We're sticking with the one
If we-
right now that's attached right here to
The way I look at it, the resolution as accepting the methodology, is it applicable in perpetuity, independent of the ordinance? That would have to be reevaluated for a new fee schedule every 5 years?
So what I would say, that subsequent international code for square foot construction costs shall be utilized as part of this methodology in future resolutions. Although a future resolution is going to speak for itself. So I don't know that you really even need this, be it further resolved. I think it's confusing. I don't know. Am I the only one?
If it's easier to take out.
I thought we could, I thought it was just residential that had to hold it for 5 years, and it wasn't the other, after I read that through
Well, again, the
that.
resolution doesn't speak to any timeframes. It just says in future iterations,
Yeah.
this shall be the standard we use.
A
So,
future
I don't see that as a
iteration could be the
problem.
next time that report comes out.
Right, next time it changes.
Well,
Next time it changes.
Because it
No,
says,
In the next ordinance, under now therefore, number 3 says, notwithstanding the general limitation on fee increases, common council, blah, 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 supported, may adjust fees at any time upon finding supported by documentation and a public hearing that the cost of the unit has substantially changed.
Okay, that's true. We still
Yeah.
have to do that.
So-
Still have to do that in the ordinance.
Yeah, so it would be,
I guess maybe that's a moot, then makes it a moot.
Yeah.
Point,
We
yeah.
have to-
and then number 4 says it should periodically review the fee schedule, including not less than once every 5 years.
Yeah.
So we could do,
I think
double
that that's
negative.
confusing, that second be it further resolved, to me.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not confusing to anyone else.
It is a little bit, but, it's like, well, what are we going to, I think the
ordinance
ordinance
makes
is going to
it-
take.
The ordinance
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
makes it clear.
Mhm.
The ordinance does make it clear.
Yeah.
As long as the ordinance is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says not less than every 5 years, so I mean, we could do it in 2.
Mhm.
But if we do it,
Yeah.
we're going to have to go through a formal procedure.
Correct.
We can't just say, here it is.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Or here it is every 6 months, we're adjusting it, minuscule tweaks here and there and everything else because a new schedule's come out.
And you have to have justification, and there's it's all set out in the statute.
Well, I'm going to make the motion that we adopt Resolution 2026-10 and then fight over the ordinance. That's what it takes.
Okay. We have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next item is ordinance 2026-7, an ordinance establishing a schedule of fees for the Department of Planning, Zoning, and Inspection of the City of Greencastle, Putnam County, Indiana. Okay. Just for a little, while you're all kind of thumbed through that, Michaela, do you want to do this? Do you want me to do this?
You can.
Okay. The clerk treasurer kind of went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and kind of, I'll kind of share with how much we collect on our building permit fees currently. So in 2021, a combination of building permits, demolition permits, electrical permits, and sign permits, we collected $23,759.66. Of that, $19,833.75 was building permits. In 2022, we collected $28,969.87, of which $24,781.08 was building permits. In '23, we did $25,112.92, of which $22,222.14 was building permits. In '24, it was $21,360.86, which in building permits that year, it was $19,529.35. And in '25, we collected $26,398.58 for $23,692.46. And here in '26, we, to date, which is, we're about halfway through the year, a little over, it's $14,693.26, 26 cents, which 13,141 cents and a penny is building permits. So I will tell you, and you all have it here, of what we pay the building inspector, but his salary alone is $67,891.20, and that's without any benefits. So, we're only...
If our department budget is $486,000, we're collecting, what, 4%, 3 or 4%?
Yeah, so that's just
Yeah, not
kind
even-
of...
Not even 5, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And, we're just like the school when we talk about the SCA 1. We're going to have to do some makeup, so,
Well, this is only bringing it up to date.
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. It's not like we're trying to supplant a loss or something. This is just bringing it up to date.
Yep.
And matching what the county's doing, and still being under, I know we're under what Crawfordsville is, let alone, going east of us, which we consider as a comp. But Crawfordsville's a good one, and I think I saw some of their fees, and they were substantially higher than ours. So, if there's no further discussion, I would move that we adopt ordinance 2607 on first reading, establishing a schedule of fees for the Department of Planning and Zoning in the building.
I would second that.
Before we vote, I just want to reiterate, I think through the next month, we really have to look at that. those fees for the false alarms, and just make sure we're really careful with that.
I seconded that.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. We will bring this back next month, and then finally,
No fight over it either, like David
okay.
implied.
good deal. Resolution
Now the
20.
fat boy.
Yeah. Resolution 2026-11, a resolution for adoption of the City of Greencastle 2026 Comprehensive Plan update. So, David, you're the president of the Planning Commission, so do you want to talk about the steps that were taken with the Planning Commission and all of that?
I will. I wasn't a part of the steering committee. Kathy was, but that kind of did its work some time ago. This has been ongoing for, 2.5 years, close to it. It came, drafts came to Plan Commission. The first one was last year, sometime or another, and everybody went through it and marked it up, came up with all sorts of lots and lots of comments and things that American Structure Point was very good about working with. And as we've seen here in this body, one idea or one little change kind of snowballs into a whole bunch more, and that's what happened in Plan Commission. So Plan Commission has dealt with this the last 4 months, the last 4 meetings, and have really tried to largely over how you're going to classify areas in what type of again, we've got to delineate between the comprehensive plan and the UDO or the zoning ordinance because they're totally different. And one has a force of law and one is just a recommendation for how you might want to do things as you go down the road. And that's the comprehensive plan. So the members came back and emailed and went forward, back and forth over, well, what are we lose an ag district? What are we going to call land that's now in an ag district? And, it was these kind of really what you would think are minutia, but they end up being fairly important to some folks. And last meeting came to an agreement, and then I think American Structure Point, I didn't reread this that I got today.
But
I have been through it at least 3 times, front to back, and I'm tired of it because I don't even think they're that important. But I do think the UDO is. And so that's the long and the short of how we came to get 262 pages or whatever it is. And a lot of it is just nice graphics and charts and
Pictures.
tables and but there is a lot of information here, some of which will be important to comply with as we go down the road. And some of it we're just going to say, that's crazy, why would we do that? And fortunately, it's not force of law, so we can eliminate what we don't like and take what we do as the world changes around us, as it does like over the last 29 years. So that's the word from Plan Commission.
And it was a unanimous vote
It was a unanimous vote.
to bring it to council.
And I think everybody was, I think we had a full board. Kevin might not have been.
Yeah, Kevin wasn't there.
Yeah, Kevin was the only one. But Kevin was on the steering committee, and Kevin had a lot of comments, and all were integrated into the subsequent drafts, just like everybody's were. I don't think, everybody that had material issues and comments, questions, concerns were all dealt with, and that's why it ended up.
I think everyone was heard.
Excuse me?
I feel like everyone was heard.
Well, everybody was heard, and the Plan Commission at least, I don't know about the steering committee, but Plan Commission at least is an open forum, and anybody can come, it's just like us here, First thing we do is public petitions and comments, and we're all big people, and we're happy to engage in comments with the public and take their concerns, and most of the time act on them. So we didn't have much. Wish we'd had more. But again, it's the comprehensive plan, and It's a nice 262-page document that you can definitely cure your insomnia by reading. But it does not have force of law. I just want to continually reiterate that. So,
It's a guidance, document.
Yeah.
It's a
It is
guiding
considered-
document.
It is considered in your determinations for variances and for changes to the map and things like that. You have to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. But
Yeah.
it's a guidance, it's a light to
Yeah.
guide us.
It paints a picture of where we're at and where we would like to go.
And it can be amended from time to time, and the process is the same as what you would have here. You would have what we're doing right now. You'd have a public hearing. It would have to be approved by the Plan Commission and then go to council for 2 more readings.
And there is some pretty good data in the appendix, things you might not have known.
It's
are in there.
There's some surprising data.
It may not be a surprise, but I like the minutia, so I have a couple questions. But I also feel like I've talked way too much today, so I'm going to try to go in an order that hopefully that'll narrow my questions. But I'm really curious to hear more about sub-area plans. It's mentioned quite a few times, and I did some research myself, but I want to understand how we plan to use sub-area plans in addition to the zoning and the comprehensive plan.
So with that specifically, well, and really a lot of these strategies, what we say in the comprehensive plan really is contingent on what we end up adopting in the UDO. And I know a lot of the language within the comprehensive plan is broad, and that's on purpose because of that contingency.
Yeah, it hasn't been determined yet.
Sure.
There is no
Sure.
answer to that yet, because it'll be in the UDO.
Right.
And that will all come to you for
Yeah.
approval.
So I guess a follow-up to that then, with that being the answer. I know like on page 53, I really love the vision and the goal section. One of them is, I think 1.1 maybe is a vibrant mixed-use neighborhood, promoting walkability, connectivity, diverse housing, local businesses. Like I love that. But then I look at the map and I feel like we're not really following that vision in a lot of places. One example is the corridor highway commercial. And some other examples are like my area where a lot of the development already is kind of mixed use, but on the map, it's single family use. So that's why I'm kind of curious about sub-area plans. And as we get into the UDO, is that a way we might use a sub-area plan that even though the UDO says single family, but it makes sense to do some mixed use, multi-use? Because I just don't feel like the map matches that vision right now.
And there are differences in opinion, ultimately. There's a lot you can do without even necessarily changing a zone district. It can be broad, and you have specific use standards, or you have specific lot standards that can really work those things out without having any specificity on name.
Okay.
Street widths and things like that are
Exactly.
things that you have to consider when you're going to allow an area. So there has to be a street.
That's why really, and
Yeah.
I've said this throughout the adoption process, but the UDO is significantly more important from my perspective, just because that's what can promote growth, promote housing, or kill it.
Yeah. Just to make sure I'm understanding, because it is a lot. So once we get to the UDOs, we could, in theory, let's just use Elm Street as an example. Elm Street may, on the map, be mixed density residential, but in the UDO, there may be a mechanism for a corner store to be on Elm Street, even though it's not mixed use as the more commercial.
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to have, there's already a proposed in the zoning classifications for, and this is not the right terminology, but neighborhood commercials. And that's going to be, because growing up in this little town, there used to be neighborhood grocery stores
yeah.
spotted all over this little town.
Yeah.
And, you know, people, you know, made their livings this way, a lot of them did. And those all went away. And you look at now developments, Stonegate and Zionsville, all these, you know, may have 400 single-family homes, but in the middle, there's a commercial strip. There may be an elementary school that there is. And now, you aren't going to pick up Zionsville and put it in the middle of Greencastle.
Right, of course, yeah.
But the ordinance is and the UDO is a little vague, as you say, in this regard as well, for that very reason, because you don't want to lock yourself into, okay, in this neighborhood, which is actually an area defined as an area of complementary land uses, in this neighborhood, you can't just have only single-family homes. You know, you may want in the center of that have a, you know, maybe somebody's going to develop a little plaza. The problem that we have in Greencastle is it's a mature, developed community, and so it really works more for new developments, those types of zoning classifications. And I would look forward to getting one or two of those in my lifetime. I think it'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
However, it's going to be designed so that if it's an appropriate site within a traditional neighborhood, as we would call it now, for a commercial use or two or three, I think that's going to be encouraged. And I hope it is.
That's the biggest thing I want to be careful about, because I know like Main Street, Old Main Street and Maple Street are currently in the map listed as, I forget the exact term, neighborhood commercial, which I love, but you know, one block over is technically single family, but if the UDO gives us that flexibility that if it makes sense and the form on, you know, Illinois Street might make sense for a candy store or something, I don't know. But right now the map is only on Maple, so that's why I wanted to make sure that that's how it works.
When you listen to David Baird, who's the consultant who's actually writing the ordinance, an attorney, and you know, he will tell you, it's like, we want this to be as flexible of a document as we can. Both he wasn't in charge of comprehensive plan, but he is the UDO.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the goal. The goal also has to be twofold. It also has to maintain the integrity of existing neighborhoods as well. So I think that as we go through this process, again, this gives us a little bit of a guide, but the rubber hits the road with the UDO, and you know, we want the flexibility to maximize land values and, you know, create a community of highest and best uses.
Yeah.
And so that's
I agree.
that's how we want to I think proceed.
Yeah, I would agree. And I agree with what you said. And for the sake of time, I'll send you a lot of my questions that we can work on, but the one big one I want to bring to the table is a lot of communities around us are starting to talk about their UDOs regarding data centers, data warehouses. I noticed we don't have anything in this document about it. And just to put this into the open, I know Portage right now is working on a zoning classification only for data centers, and it's by BZA only. There's not anything zoned in Portage for that data center, but if you want it, you can come to BZA and go through that process. I know Columbus, Indiana is working through something similar. So something that we should probably be thinking about as that conversation starts to come more and more, and especially as we're having this. In the old classifications, I don't have the note in front of me, but data warehouses were allowed in light industrial, I believe, and we just don't even mention it right now in this. So have we talked about where, if, how those are going to be in?
I've actually brought this up to David Baird recently, actually after our Plan Commission meeting, specifically because I was invited to participate in the county's UDO amendment process. Data centers, solar farms, wind farms, battery storage facilities like lithium ion, and small modular nuclear reactors were all discussed, and those being significant political hot button kind of issues and the implications both economically and environmentally. It's something we absolutely should consider in the UDO and define to some degree. But thankfully, with a lot of those issues, they will end up, I think, being more so a county issue because those types of facilities typically require hundreds of acres.
Sure.
So I would encourage everybody to participate in the counting process.
Perfect. As long as
Since we don't have a 2-mile fringe ananymore, we don't even.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, as Joel mentioned about the Walmart, the Super Walmart, when it was proposed years ago, there was substantial opposition to that. And somebody got up, I think I do remember who it was, but and said, well, that's just a bad place for it because that's created urban sprawl. And somebody said, well, they need 7 acres or whatever it was. And it was like, where are we going to find 7 bare acres? And they said, in between the courthouse and the university and the campus. And I thought, I was chairing the planning commission then, and I thought, with all due respect, you scrape every building in that quadrant you're talking about, and you have about 2 acres. So, again, we have to look at the highest and best use of the land, and what it is, and where it is. And we don't have a spare 200 acres within the city limits at this point in time.
Yeah.
And if we do, it's probably not going to be annexed for.
Yeah.
I would not support. I don't want to say that because I might, but. Well, if we annex a bunch of land somewhere.
Well, that's.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Well, we never say never.
I think that's part of the
but
reason.
If we annex a bunch of land somewhere out in the township, it's probably not going to be for that.
Right.
So importantly, though, data centers are their own animal, but solar farms, from my understanding, you cannot prohibit them entirely because they are now regulated under the IURC.
Yeah.
So the difficult question is, okay, well, if we have to allow them to some degree, what do we control?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what Portage is doing in their ordinance. So it has to go to BZA, and that becomes, there's nowhere in Portage zoned for solar farm or for a data center. So if you want one, you have to go to BZA instead of, being.
There are pros and cons about that.
Yeah.
About it just being an appointed board that decides.
Fair, but at least it's a legal way to see if
Some
instead of saying I would never vote
I can't
for it.
imagine that this does not get addressed.
Or even if it was just.
I bet he addresses it.
If it was a special exception, then you could put all sorts of
Yeah.
conditions upon it. It's the hot topic.
Yeah.
At my municipal,
Oh, yeah.
I think last week, we had a whole roundtable just on that, and I got a lot of good contacts. So,
Good, yeah.
But it's ever-changing, and everybody had a different opinion, frankly.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, we're going to be talking extensively about those.
Yeah. I guess my suggestion is maybe we even do something sooner than wait for this, but just one opinion.
I would, just one thing and then we can move forward. I would encourage you all to take a look at a neighborhood in Plainfield. So if you go to where Perry Crossing is, if you turn right, you go to the mall. If you turn left, there's this really
Big, behind the gas station.
Gas station,
Yeah,
go about a
behind-
block or two north.
behind that, there's a breakfast place there. There's going to be a whole lot of restaurants, I think, and retail. When you look there, all you see is apartments, but when you go behind it, it's all these houses, townhouses, villas like they're wanting. So I thought I think it's kind of a cool place to just go check out and see what's selling in that. They're really nice houses. They're big houses. But honestly, some of them, the air conditioners are setting almost next to them, and I'm not sure who mows between the lawns. So I just think, I would encourage all of you, if you haven't seen those neighborhoods, to take a look at it. And then they have beautiful playgrounds in the middle of them, so.
I don't want to cause a stir by naming other communities that people might go, we never want to be that community. But I have other neighborhoods I'm willing to suggest offline if anyone wants to do a field trip that are very similar. And I think honestly, the types of developments we're going to need to see school enrollment
Go up.
and instead of slowly decaying as a community. So I'll happy to share those with anyone.
Yep.
Some of my favorite places to go and get inspiration from.
And right in the middle, it was a 55 and older complex. You know,
That's your true mixed use, and that, 30 years ago, we called those planned unit developments, because you could have that breadth of development within a zone. But again, that's where planning and development has all evolved over the last 3 decades to these mixed uses. And it almost takes you back to the turn of the 19th century, to the way things developed. And with the density, because you go east, and probably even in Chicago, everything is just packed in. Land values have been high for 200 years, and we haven't had that out here. And so as time goes on, but again, you can't. I mean, there was 178 kids that graduated with me, and there was a few more in your class, because yours
About that
was the
same.
largest.
Okay, I
It was
don't recall.
146 by my time.
And I was
it's gone down.
141.
It's gone down, yeah.
Down.
And
It was
you get to the
90-something.
point where you have a couple hundred kids graduating every year, you're going to have a need, and the developer's going to come in and fill that need, and then we just have to make sure it's the proper development. So,
Okay.
with all that being said, if there's no further discussion, I would move to adopt Resolution 2026-11, adopting the comprehensive plan.
We've got a motion, second.
I've got one comment, and I really like the critical path strategy section from 79 to whatever page that is. It says 140, but anyway, I think that's important, because that says, hey, this is where we go from here in the short term. So, anyway, so without further ado, go ahead.
We have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I bet John would like to do that.
You want a motion to adjourn, John?
I'll second.
We got a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second time around.
Make sure you sign one,
Okay, so-
sign and
Enjoy
get it
going
back.
over the bridge, that's all.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun, I know.
We're going to have to come back, and we'll have to come back and sign.
I went over it one time, literally, I was scared.
Lori, we'll have to come back and sign ordinance 2026-05.
So windy.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Can you just send out
And they do close. Really? If it's that bad.
next
Yeah,
time?
everything's going around. I'm just waiting for everyone to know that.
Yeah. And they also close it on Labor Day morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's cool. I have the claims. Yep. Thank you.
We're out of here.
Just that one.
Park board meetings have lasted quite a while.
Aw, that's good.
Nope.
Well, John's getting broken in.
I know.
It is resolution.
What is it, Xavier?
Only quite yet.
Feel like we're getting
See you later.
This was a very difficult meeting to